Welcome back to another episode of Proper Play. Today we're going to do a little something different. I have been, as you know, actively doing Guild Wars 2, Living Story Season 2, which those who are not familiar with Guild Wars may be asking, okay, why are you starting with Season 2? Where in the world is Season 1? Okay. And I've explained it to some people who've asked me, so I thought I'd make a video about it. Season 1 was called the Scarlet War, or Scarlet's War, which Scarlet, who you've heard mentioned a few times during my Season 2 gameplay, was the main antagonist in Season 1, quote unquote. And I'm going to go over a little bit of what happened in Season 1 so you know. Now, I'm going to go over my journey of it, and then I will actually play the game's video that explains what happened. A lot of people, they didn't, I hear mixed reactions to Season 1 or the Scarlet War. Like a lot of people got upset with it. Me, playing MMO for years, playing Final Fantasy 11 and 14. I've played World of Warcraft. I played Dungeon and Dragons. I've played multiple MMO games. This one here just set well with me. And for me, Scarlet was one of my favorite parts for many, many reasons. Um, Many reasons. I mean, I already liked Guild Wars because it was very interactive in regards to things that you do in the world actually affect the world. And Living Story, I don't know if ArenaNet was actually testing, how doing a living world, living story that affected everybody in the world would how would that would pan out and how everybody felt about it. I've heard mixed feelings about it. There's some actually major YouTubers out there that play Guild Wars that actually say they didn't like it. I heard a couple of people that I knew played say they didn't like it. Me, I enjoyed every little bit of it. This guy right here, which is Sif, who I've been playing my Living Story Season 2 with, that's who you've been following. He was my only real main character at the time. Arisiant, which is my necromancer, he was just getting in the groove of things and just getting towards that top level where I could actually uh, play him throughout. But I've had I made some characters in that time, but they actually grew during that particular war to being my full-time level 80 characters. Okay, but Sif was my number one. He was the first character I created, so I thought I would give him the honors of doing the Living Story Season 2. But anyways, I'm kind of digressing a little bit from my point. The characters who I built, who took part in that was Sif, it was who was my thief, Arisiant, who was my necro, Sif's brother Koldrak Larson, which is my big guardian. I have not played him in a video yet, but I will be doing fractals with him later. And then Augustine, who is my warrior, who you have seen in a few videos, if you've seen those videos. Those four were the ones that I actually built from ground up doing the Scarlet War, which those pictures you just seen of those characters. So much happened. So much happened. I'm just trying to think in characters that you know in this story were introduced during the Living Story Season 1. Storylines. There were so many storylines during that. So many little. The way that it worked was like this. Literally, I think over the course of 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, there were something. ArenaNet updated Guild Wars every month with a new story that everybody could interact in. Okay. And I think it went, and I'm gonna try to list these correctly. Shadow of the Mad King, which I know I missed that, and then the Lost Shores. Then there was this Winter's Day deal, which is kind of like Christmas in Guild Wars 2. Famine Frost, then Super Adventure Box, which is kind of like it looks like Minecraft, but it's on Guild Wars. It's crazy. I've never done it, but the next time if they reintroduce it, I'm gonna do that to make sure I share that with y'all. Secret of South Sun, which South Sun is an area that got opened up in Guild Wars, which was pretty awesome. And then Dragon Bash, which was cool. It was a celebration about the dragons and whatnot. Sky Pirates of Tyria, which that kind of for me is what started off the whole deal. There was Sky Pirates of Tyria, Bazaar of the Four Winds, and then Cutthroat Politics. Those things, those three episodes right there are the ones that got everything started in the Scarlet War. Because I think there were two, Ellen Kill and Nash Blade. That's all I remember is like a char. There was actually a voting going on in Guild Wars who you wanted to lead the Black Lions merchants, right? If I may be wrong about the exact verbiage, but those two, and then there was all kinds of politics going on at the time. It was crazy, and you got to wear stickers and who you were going to vote for, and it was crazy, right? It was just like today's elections. But that went on into what's called the Queen's Jubilee, which is in um, Divinity's Reach. And I mentioned it in, I think, Party Politics episode. It was a place where they actually broke off the areas like the Char lands, the human lands, the Savari lands, the Yasura lands, human land, Norn lands, sorry, I mentioned human already. All the enemies in those lands were in this arena, and you could go from arena to arena or part of the arena to part of the arena to fight in a atmosphere like the place where they're located. And you could level. That's how I got Arisian leveled. That's how I got I believe Augustine leveled as well. Koltrek, I think it was after the fact. Um, but that's how I got them leveled from literally 0 to 80. So that was very cool to do. But then Clockwork Chaos was after that, which was I think where I leveled Koldrak. Another Super Adventure Box came out. Then Tequatl came in. The Tequatl, which I've played a couple of times in my live stream, uh, really big boss fight, world boss fight that you can actually do, and it actually, if I'm not mistaken, Tequatl was already there, but they revamped them to where you had to be more. It was a more of a team effort. Like you had people on turrets, then you had like a zerg of people who would battle Tequatl, then you had some people that were on defense, things of that nature. Twilight Assault. I'm trying to think. I think that's where TA was TA. Twilight Arbor, the Aether Blades was introduced, if I'm not mistaken. Blood and Madness, which was in Tower of Nightmares, Nightmare Within. All that was around Halloween time. Then Fractured, and then A Very Merry Winter's Day, which was another Christmas. That was another Christmas living story, and then the Origins of Madness. I think that's where it all kind of started. The Origins of Madness, The Edge of the Mist, and then Escape from Lion's Arch. Escape from Lion's Arch was when this city that I'm in actually is called Lion's Arch. You can't really see most of it because it's behind this rock right here. But it's the main city in the game. Now, never in any MMO that I'm aware of, during the actual live play, they destroyed the city. Like Scarlet destroyed Lion's Arch. She attacked it, and it was awesome because you literally, it was like live in game. You would go and you were trying to rescue people and children from the city and take them to the outside. They had emergency tents on the outside of the city where you could, heal people and get your party together. And then we went back into the city, and it would happen in waves like every hour. And you would rescue people and go back in, rescue people, and then you would earn achievements every time you did that. Um, After that was the final part, which was the Battle of Lion's Arch. The Battle of Lion's Arch, I actually, at that particular point, I had gotten all my characters, the four characters that I mentioned that was a part of this, Sif, Arisian, Augustine, and Koldrak were all level 80 at the time. And this was a part where we were actually planning because Scarlet, she came in with this drill in the middle of Lion's Arch. Nobody knew why, right? And was drilling, a big drill, drilling through the middle of Lion's Arch. And there was a thing that there was events that we had to do in Lion's Arch, the burning city of Lion's Arch at the time. We had to do things around the city. Then, when we got into the drill, there was another major battle. In the major battle, that's when we finally got to confront Scarlet and kill Scarlet. So Scarlet ended up dying, but at the end of that, Scarlet still achieved what she wanted to do, and that's where we get into Living Story 1. So this is literally where I'm at right now, and the reason why I'm standing right here, this is a cool little memorial to all the people who perished during the time of the Scarlet War, quote unquote, Really nice little memorial where the water kind of seeps in down here, and I'll show you what's down there real quick. And then what I'll do is cut it off to I'll cut it off to see. This is the memorial in here for everybody who passed during that war. Really, really cool stuff. And this is stuff that they update in game. Really, really awesome. I'm not sure if this says something. I'm gonna see if I can. Oh, I'm gonna have to put the screen on. Okay. This is what it says. It says, "We will make it a free port, not beholden to any nation. The port would be open to any and all, so long as they'll fight against ore and help to keep our waters clear." All right. That's just what they have in the middle of the uh, memorial here. But really, really awesome. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut off here. I just want to, while I do that, I just want to thank y'all guys for watching. Enjoy this little cutscene of the explanation of the Scarlet War Living Story Season 1. And yeah, just definitely enjoy that. If y'all have any comments, questions, definitely drop them down below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. And as I always say, pinkies up, proper out.
Scarlet Briar. Where should I begin? No one at first knew why she began her reign of terror. Some say she peered into the very fabric of the universe and went insane. Her attacks began in the northeast and spread like fire. She formed uneasy alliances and controlled her minions through deception and brutality. She leveraged their technology to scan for currents of magical energy called ley lines. Each attack had a purpose, allowing her to collect data from across Tyria that would later be used to assault Lion's Arch. When all hope seemed lost, the heroes of Tyria rose to the task, along with new allies. Bram Arison of Kragstead, Rox Whetstone, Gladium, Casimir Mead, Mesmer, Marjorie Delacroix, Investigator, and Taimi, Prodigy from Radasum. Led by the Pact Commander, they dismantled Scarlet's operations. But while they reclaimed the city at the Battle of Lion's Arch, they would later discover that she had completed her mission, even in death. Scarlet's machine struck the ley line deep beneath Sanctum Harbor, directing its magic far into the Maguma jungle, changing the course of history.